Hi there. I recently uploaded a video on how I had used my die cuts to cut out of metal that I had repurposed from soda cans. This was a 7-Up can, and I've used my die cut to be able to get that image out. So I will leave a link for that below so that you can see the process of cleaning the cans, cutting them open and laying up your dies. But I have done several different designs. These are just two different cans. This was a Coke Intergalactic Special Edition one, and as I said, this was a 7-Up one, and I'm very pleased that I don't have to drink all of those. I work with people who have loads of fizzy drinks for lunch, so that's a blessing to me. Anyway, I thought that I'd just show you how to make a quick card using one of these, and I'm not a fussy person. I don't like lots of glitz and bling. So I have here some watercolor paper that I bought, which is really not watercolor paper at all. And I think because it's a nice weight, it's 300 grams, I'm actually going to use this to make cards. I'm using up some strips of card that I have. I've got the lovely silver. I've got a piece of embossed card that says Season's Greetings. And as I say, this is going to be a really simple, quick card. I've got double-sided tape on the back of this, and for those of you who haven't discovered the joys of double-sided tape, I can highly recommend it. It is available at your hobby shops. It's basically like thin sticky tape, but it is adhesive on both sides. You need to make sure that you rub the corners down well, and then I just use a craft knife and flip up the end and you peel it off. How's that? No fuss and no mess. So I'm wanting to layer this just about 1/2 centimeter from the bottom of my card, like that. It will overlap a little on the end here, and I was aware of that before I started, so I'm just simply going to flip it over and just use my pair of scissors, line up with the edge and trim that off. So that was easy enough. Then my second piece of layering is going to be the silver piece of card, and again I've put double-sided tape at the back of this, so I'm just using this as a sort of a mat for my sentiment. And a mat often is great because it will just give you a little bit of color underneath, very much like when you're framing a picture. It just gives you that pop of color that sort of draws everything together. I want that on my first stripe, and I have planned this out, so there we go. So the next part is going to be slightly more tricky. In fact, let me just see if I can work better with this opened out, just because it is quite springy. So I have a few problems here. I've got a really thin stem on this piece of metal. It is very fine indeed, and I've got very thin little stems here as well. So on the reverse side, I've cut narrow little strips of double-sided tape. Some of these pieces of double-sided tape, if you look carefully, you will see that they overhang. But once I peel those off, I'll be able to use the blade of my craft knife just to tuck those in underneath. So I think the first thing that I'm going to do is just to peel off this double-sided tape. When you're working with this double-sided tape on metal, it does sometimes want to lift. So if that is the case, just press it down firmly and just try again. But that has come up nicely. And so now I'm just going to use my blade just to fold it back in on itself. And it does this really easily. I didn't want to get tangled up with glues and things at this stage. I know some of you have great skill at working with glue in very delicate areas. I'm not one of those people, so forgive me. I've chosen an easy option here, and one that I know that it will work. So just peeling off these little tabs, you'll notice that I haven't put them on every single little leaf and every single little stem, because I feel that when I've got them on a couple, they will manage. So just tucking in all these little loose ends of tape where they overhang, because I don't want the tape to be exposed where it might pick up a bit of dust and things, bearing in mind that this is a Christmas card and it might stand out on a mantelpiece or so for a couple of weeks, depending on what time I send it. So we're just going to tuck those in neatly. Any little folds won't show on the right side of your design. Right, so this is probably the most fiddly part of this whole process. Oopsie. Folding these little bits back, but I'm sure you can see that it is actually worth it. Just these last two. And my idea here is that I want the base of my stem to be behind the sentiment. My reason for this being is that because the stem of this little quirky tree is so very, very thin, it's going to be really hard to put any tape or anything to secure that. I mean, I can't imagine how skilled you have to be to do that. So my thought is to lay that down with this on top. So I'm just going to roughly eyeball my design. Let's see, I want that in the center. So I need my tree to be about here, and I want to make sure that my leaves aren't sticking out at the top. I could bring this down a little bit as well, and I think that I'm happy with that. So I'm going to start by pressing down these leaves at the top, getting those secured. Now I'm going to pick up this last bit that's got my sentiment. I've got 2 pieces of double-sided tape, and I'm going to peel off the bottom one first so that the top one will fall over the exposed area and glue down onto that first piece. So I've got that, and this will make a very, very nice strong seal over that stem and hold it all in place. That's my thinking. Right, so let's just get this nice and secure in the middle as I thought I'd like it, like that. Press down those last little leaves, and as I say, simplicity is what I like more than anything else. But as you can see, gosh, can you transform a soda can into something so beautiful? I'm really happy with that. I could have gone with this color tin if I wanted to, but I just like the festiveness of the red, white and the green, and I think that this little bit of colored paper at the bottom ties up nicely. So there you go, a nice festive card made with an old soda can that would normally have ended up in the bin. Please subscribe to my channel and give me a like or a thumbs up, and I look forward to seeing you with the next video. Bye for now.